Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, HH just filed a current report announcing a leadership transition, and I am seeing a tiny detail that could be a big signal. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company announced a C-suite change at one of its subsidiaries. But what is really interesting is the timing and how they're disclosing it. Howard Hughes Holdings Incorporated, trading under the ticker symbol HH, is a real estate development company. It is known for its large mixed-use developments. As of July 2026, it had a market cap of about $4.2 billion. It is the kind of company that builds entire communities, from homes to offices and retail spaces. This report, filed on the 16th of July 2026, specifically talks about a leadership change at Vantage Group Holdings Limited, which is a subsidiary of Howard Hughes Holdings. This kind of announcement is common, but the way it is presented in an 8K filing is important. The company itself, Howard Hughes Holdings Incorporated, is incorporated in Delaware and has its principal executive offices in the Woodlands, Texas. Their common stock is traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol HH. The core of this filing is under item 7.01, which is about Regulation FD Disclosure. This rule generally means that if a company is going to release material information to anyone, it has to release it to everyone at the same time. This filing is essentially them making that information public. So on the 16th of July, Howard Hughes Holdings put out a press release. This release announced that there is a leadership transition happening at Vantage Group Holdings Limited. One of their companies, this is pretty standard corporate news. They've attached the actual press release as an exhibit. That is where all the details about the leadership transition would be found. We're not going to dig into the press release itself too much, but it's the source of the news. This part is a bit legalistic, but it basically means that the information they are providing here is being furnished, not fully filed. This is a common distinction in SEC filings. Furnished information generally has less legal liability attached to it compared to information that is formally filed. It is like saying, here is the news, but we're not legally guaranteeing every single detail in this specific report format. Then we get to item 9.01, which covers financial statements and exhibits. Since this filing is mainly about disclosing a press release, there aren't new financial statements being presented here. The main exhibit, as we mentioned, is Exhibit 99.1, the press release itself. This is where you would find the names of the outgoing and incoming leaders, the reasons for the change, and any immediate impacts. Exhibit 104 is the cover page in an interactive data format, which is pretty standard for these filings now. It helps regulators and investors easily digest the key information. Finally, we have the signatures. This is where the company officially signs off on the report. Joseph Villan, who is the General Counsel and Secretary for Howard Hughes Holdings Incorporated, has signed this document. The signature indicates the official acceptance of the filing. The date is the 17th of July 2026, which is the day after the press release was issued. Now let's look at the bigger picture. Howard Hughes Holdings is a company that manages large-scale development projects. News like this about leadership changes, especially in subsidiaries, could sometimes suggest underlying issues or strategic shifts. However, this particular filing is very brief and just points to a press release. What is interesting is the context. Looking at recent news, Virginia Vantage Group Holdings Limited has been in the headlines. Just a few days before this filing, there was news on the 16th of July that Vantage would keep Greg Hendrick as CEO until Gansberg takes over. This filing from Howard Hughes Holdings seems to be their official way of confirming and publicly announcing what was already being discussed or reported. In terms of financial health, Howard Hughes Holdings itself reported a P/E ratio of 32.9 in July 2026, suggesting investors were willing to pay about 33 times its annual earnings for its stock. The market cap was around $4.2 billion. This indicates it is a significant player in its field. Its stock price, around $70.32, was within its 52. Week range of $61.01 to $91.07. This isn't a company in financial distress, and this particular filing doesn't suggest any immediate financial problems. The key takeaway here is that while the filing itself is light on detail, it serves as a formal announcement of a leadership change at a subsidiary. The fact that it is reported as a Regulation FD disclosure means they are being transparent about this personnel move. For investors, it is always worth digging into the actual press release mentioned in Exhibit 99.1 to understand the full story behind the transition. Without that, this 8K is just a formality confirming public information. The risk I am watching is not in this specific filing, but in how such leadership changes might ripple through the broader strategy of Howard Hughes Holdings, especially given its reliance on large long-term development projects. What I am actually looking for are any future filings that might detail the impact of this leadership change on Vantage Group's operations and its contribution to HHS overall performance. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Check out the Discord in the description.